Welcome back to the FeelSwell Cultures podcast. We're going to talk today about why location matters, the psychological impact of your retreat venue on team dynamics. So, welcome back. You know, I'm Keely, your CEO here at FeelSwell Experiences, and it gets overlooked a lot, this topic in retreat planning, but it has a massive impact. Location, location, location. More specifically, we're going to explore why the venue for your retreat matters on a psychological level and how it influences team dynamics in the long run. This really isn't just about having just a beautiful backdrop for team photos where you showcase on your career page how amazing it is to work for your company. It's about creating the right environment for your team and your people to thrive. And with today's workforce, especially as we see more and more Gen Z entering the scene, in the next 5 years, 58% of the workforce will be Gen Z and millennials. It has never been more relevant. We're going to dive into the stats. I'm going to share some stories. I'm going to give you some insight on how location can make or break the success of your retreat. So let's start with the workforce, okay? The office, as we know, is changing rapidly. Okay, we've got a hybrid workforce, many teams are fully remote, and let's face it, an overwhelming number of Gen Z and Gen Z and some millennial employees are still working from their childhood bedrooms. When I'm out at conferences and I'm meeting people, I share this with them and they are shocked, but they know that it's true. And that is no place that anyone can be creative when you're working from your childhood bedroom. So, there was a recent study done by Axios. There was a staggering 55% of employees under the age of 35 that are working remotely, often from less than ideal environments. So, like they're in shared apartments, they're in their parents' homes, right? They're not feeling creative. And for the younger generation, the lines between work and home life are increasingly blurred. There's never really been and think about it, right? Those that graduated in 2020, right? The first set of Gen Z to enter the workforce, there's never really been a distinct separation between the two. And that can take a huge toll on mental health and productivity. And imagine trying to create these breakthrough ideas. You're asked to do all of these different tasks while sitting in the same space where you sleep, you eat, and you relax. It's no wonder that 74% of Gen Z millennials say they're more likely to feel burned out compared to older generations. And this is really where location and environment can play such an essential role, where you can bring these employees to a new environment away from the same four walls that they've been staring at for months. It can really impact their mindset, their creativity, and their team dynamics. And a well-chosen retreat venue doesn't just give them that like change of scenery. It allows them to reset and reimagine how they work both individually and as part of a team. So one of the things that we focus on at FeelSwell Experiences is getting teams into nature. And there's really a good reason for that. It's science, which we all love. There's been so many studies that have shown that spending time in nature can reduce stress, boost creativity, and improve cognitive function. In fact, there's a report done by Harvard Business Review that found that individuals working in natural environments experienced a 15% boost in well-being compared to those working in urban settings. But it's really not just about the individual well-being, it's the impact of nature. It goes beyond that personal mental health. It extends into team dynamics because let's just be real, who you are and how you show up, it does bleed into everything that you do. And when you remove the distractions and the stressors of that typical work environment, we've got emails, phone calls, the constant pinging of Slack notifications. Teams can connect on a deeper level and they're more likely to communicate openly, collaborate creatively, and solve problems together when they're surrounded by calming and restorative environments. We've all spent years in virtual meetings, and I can tell you, even when I'm meeting clients, I actually prefer that they come to San Diego and I take them on an experience. Potential clients that we're getting to know each other. I'd much rather, have them, maybe they're in town visiting for work, and we go on a virtual, not a virtual, we take away the virtual world and we go on an actual experience and we create more connection. For example, I have a potential client coming to San Diego, and we're going to go get the most amazing fish tacos in San Diego, and we're going to go kayaking, right? So that, compared to let's meet on a Zoom and get to know each other, is completely different. And it's the same thing for teams. The opportunity for teams to engage in face-to-face, inspiring environments can be transformative. So at a retreat, a nature-focused venue is going to offer teams this much-needed break from the digital world. And that creates the perfect conditions for true, authentic connection. The idea that location shapes behavior isn't just a new concept. It's actually something called environmental psychology, and it's been studied for decades. The basic premise is that our physical surroundings influence how we think, how we feel, and how we behave. Now think about it. When you're cramped, I just really picture this with me. When you're cramped in a sterile office with no natural light, how do you feel? Probably not very creative, right? But compare that to being in an open space, fresh air, natural light, and maybe even a view of the ocean or mountains. Your brain shifts. Your thinking opens up. Your stress levels drop. And the shift is crucial for innovation and collaboration. So we need to think, okay, it's not just about productivity, it's also about meeting the values and the expectations of today's workforce, especially Gen Z. This generation places a high value on work-life balance and meaningful work. They want to feel like their work matters. They want to work for companies that prioritize well-being. And let me tell you, taking your team to a nature-focused venue for a retreat is really a clear sign that you care about mental health and work-life balance and their creativity. I experienced it graduating in 2020 as the first time Gen Z employee. I knew my company didn't care about mental health or well-being, or, getting me into environments where I was connecting with the generations above me and learning from them. It wasn't like that ever. It was sterile, it was cold, and I became an accidental entrepreneur because of it, and why I started FeelSwell Experiences. So we have to start looking at, how do we take care of people? Deloitte did a study and survey for Millennial and Gen Z, and they saw that 63% of Gen Z respondents said they're more likely to work for companies that prioritize employees' mental health and well-being. That's huge. So hosting your retreat in an environment that does promote that shows that you're taking it seriously, shows that you're committed, and you're not just saying you care about your team, but you're really putting it into action. And that's such a tangible experience that people can walk away with and go, wow, I really felt like I got a lot out of that. So when you're planning a retreat, you want it to just be more than a meeting in a different location. Right? Think about that. I'm going to say it one more time because I think it's helpful to hear the specifics of how you can think differently about the next event or meeting that you create for your team. When you're planning a retreat, you want it to be more than just a meeting in a different location. You want it to be an experience, something that sticks with your team long after they return to the office or back home. Is something that's so important, is that that's why this venue matters so much. You're impacting somebody's psychological, thoughts, ideas about the company that they're working for, the way that they're working for you, the experience, the attachment that they have to you. And consider this, when you take your team to that inspiring location, it creates a shared memory. You're really thinking, wow, this is something we did together. It's not just the content of the retreat, it's the experience of being in that beautiful, inspiring place that they'll also remember. And when you combine, like what we do at FeelSwell Experiences, we combine and do everything from concept to execution, the amazing venue with intentional activities that match your content and programming, that are strategic, that's intentional, all the way down to the custom gifts, or even being able to create a video for your careers page on what it looks like to be a part of your team to showcase that, hey, this is a great place to work. And this is really how we take care of our team, is how we show it annually. We meet up once a year. Some teams do it quarterly. It gives your team a sense of belonging and a collective experience that they can really draw on. And I think if I were to wrap up this in any really strong, powerful way, just remember this: location matters, and it's not just for the scenery. The venue you choose for your retreat has a direct psychological impact on your team. It can either improve their mental health, boost creativity, strengthen the team dynamics, or completely tank it, right? When we're in sterile boardrooms and we're sitting there for days on end, it can feel like more of a drag than what we had before. So, can we create something with today's workforce increasingly looking for meaningful environments, for places and communities that support their well-being, work-life balance? Choosing that nature-focused, unconventional venue is one of the best ways to show that you're committed to their success. So this is showing up as a leader, showing how you can really commit to creating an intentional experience for your team. At FeelSwell Experiences, I can tell you right now that we will create retreats that do exactly that. We care about every single activity, every single logistic, so that you can really focus on that objective and make sure that everything that is tailored to make sure that everything is tailored to exactly the outcome that you're hoping for. Now, if you're ready to break out of your traditional meetings, we're definitely your people. We can help you. We have a team that has amazing experience doing this for teams all over the world and really creating environments for leaders where they show up and they feel inspired and they feel connected. So thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Where you can learn more about us is at FeelSwellExperiences.com. You can book a call with our team below. You can also subscribe to our email newsletter and make sure that you tune in for the next episode, because we are so excited to see that you're going to be incorporating the most competitive thing that you can do for your team and showcasing that you really care about them by incorporating nature-focused offsites. So don't underestimate the power of a great location. We'll talk soon.